Hello and let's see, is it going? Yes, it is. Hello and welcome to today's live lesson here on the AM Language YouTube channel with me, Richie. It's 3 o'clock, and today's lesson is story time, The Secret. Irina F, hello and good afternoon. Welcome to today's lesson. I hope you are doing well. Privyet. Um, so, as always, guys, if you are watching, make sure, whether it's now or later, follow the lesson in the live chat section, because that is where the action happens. I hope everyone's doing well. It is a Thursday, and time is flying, as the saying goes. It's already the end of the first week of February. And if you are in Malta, you are enjoying some very nice weather. It's amazing to think it's like 20, 21, 22 degrees Celsius in Malta at the moment. If it continues like this, all of you are going to be on the beach by March having a good swim. I would say this. I mean, during the coronavirus pandemic, Malta has been a pretty good place because, I suppose, of its environment. Um, I mean, in at the moment, if you are in a cold, wet country during the coronavirus, you're stuck indoors most of the day. You can only go out to the supermarket, for example. It's not particularly healthy. But if you're on an island like Malta, where you can social distance very easily by, going for a swim on the beach, providing it's not too crowded, and the fact that the weather's good, it's not a bad place to be during a pandemic in that sense. There's obviously the counter side of that, whereby it is a smaller place, and yes, therefore, in some parts there can be a bit more, like it can be a bit more crowded. But because of the weather, Malta has been a pretty good place, I would say. Um, and I would say this during the lockdown, if you are in a place where you can get outside and you can still enjoy fresh air, then that's a good thing. If you're in a cold, wet climate, you can go outside, but you are going to get wet anyway. Um, as always, guys, don't forget that. Actually, not as always, because this is a new thing, but just to remind you, every Monday at the moment, the aim is to upload one new video a week. I hope to be able to do it. This week on Monday, I uploaded Present Simple, and I'm excited about the video that I'm going to upload next week as well. And the idea is that these videos will be uploaded hopefully on Monday. It depends on how complicated the video is to make, but I'm feeling good anyway about it. Leondina says, hi, Richard. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Leondina. Welcome to today's lesson. Buon pomeriggio. I hope you're doing well. That just reminds me, actually, because yesterday I got some love. You can probably see it just in the top corner. I got. You can see there's some very nice wine up there. Yes, some is French, but some is Italian as well. I think that's another important thing. Make sure you drink good wine during COVID. Alida says, good afternoon. Good after, Alida. Buenos dias, where you are in the world. I was thinking about Patagonia today. I was thinking about my future holidays, future travel destinations that I look forward to going on after COVID, and Patagonia is very high on my list. I've been to Argentina before, and I really want to go back because I want to go to Patagonia. High on my travel bucket list. There's a few, actually. There's also South Africa. Um, Leodina says, a glass of good wine, it's always helpful. Yes, it is. A glass of good red wine is always helpful, or white, if that's your preference. Alida says, good to know. You should return ASAP. Yep, absolutely. Um, I wonder if I can in the future. I hope I can. If I have time, I will try and create some lessons and put together, because I took lots of footage when I was in South America, videos, photographs. Maybe if I have time, I'll try and put it together like a mini series where you can see like the journey of South America, and maybe there's a good amount of English to be learned as well. Anyway, let's get on with today's lesson. The title of today's lesson is Story Time, and the story we're going to look at is a story called The Secret. So, my first question to you guys, Evelina, good afternoon. Welcome to today's lesson. So, before we start, I just want to make sure that we all know what secret means. So, I'm going to give you two definitions, and you can tell me which definition is the correct definition of the meaning of the word secret. It's always important that before we start, we know exactly what the word means. So which definition is the better definition for the meaning of secret? Something you know, but you don't tell anyone, or you don't want to tell anyone, or you don't want anybody to know, or B, something you know and you want to tell everyone. And Leodina and Alida have come in very quickly with A. Okay, so yeah, and that is correct. A is the best answer for this one. Okay, so the next question I have for you guys is this. Are you good at keeping secrets? Um, I would say I can be very good at keeping secrets. But that's because I'm very good at forgetting. So when someone tells me, Richie, I have something to tell you, I don't want you to tell anyone else, it's a secret, I will listen, but I will forget the secret. The reason being is that as soon as someone tells me, don't tell anyone, I don't want to accidentally say it. So I do my very best to forget about the secret. And that way I don't tell anyone about the secret. Um, Alida says, I am a grave. You are a grave. Okay, I think by that, what you're saying is, if I've understood you correctly with that, if you say I'm a grave, um, I'm guessing what you would mean is you're you, you reveal secrets in the same way as a grave, meaning you don't. Oh, right. Okay. So it's used as an idiom there. Okay. Elida, can you explain to us what that idiom would mean? I have an idea that you'll mean that you're like as quiet as a grave, maybe. Like you keep secrets in the sense that you are as quiet as a as a dead person, sort of thing. That's how I'm understanding the idiom. Let me know if I'm correct in thinking that's how it's meant. Um, oh, right, that is right. Okay, so it's in the terms of a secret, it's a good thing. It's like you can tell me I'm like a grave. I don't say anything. Okay, pretty good. I think it depends what type of secret as well. I mean, there are some sort of because with secrets, there's an element of gossip. So let me ask you guys this: do any of you like to gossip? So in this case, talk about things, talk about, some interesting news. Maybe some of it is a secret. Leodina says, yes, I'm very good at it. I consider me as a safe box. Okay, very good. What I would say there's, Leondina, just one change to that. And I would say instead of me, I would go with myself. And then that's a good answer. Noelia Duret, if I've got your name correct, thank you very much for joining the lesson today. If this is your first time and you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. You say that in Portuguese, we also use that expression. So the grave expression is used both in Portuguese and Spanish. I'm guessing South America as well, maybe Brazilian. Maybe this is specific to Brazilian Portuguese, maybe. Okay. So yeah, this is that's the case with The Secret. So now that we've had a little look at that, let's just have a little look at some vocabulary that is going to be useful. Okay. As well as the actual text. So we're going to try and build our vocabulary here. So before we get into this, I'm now going to read just like the first paragraph, and we're going to take advantage of a listening exercise here. Okay, this is listening for gist. Okay, now when you listen for gist, it's gist is the general idea of what the story is about. So here are the questions that we need to think about. Okay, and it's going to be true or false. Um, True or false, or not given as well. Okay, so the first thing is Cooper is on the moon. Okay, C, and let's go for more. D. Okay, and Henry Cooper is suspicious. So I'm now going to read the opening paragraph, and you guys need to decide which ones of these options are true, which ones are false, and which ones are not given. Okay. Obviously, T for true, F for false, and NG for not given. Okay, let's go for it. I'm going to read it twice. So, The Secret. Henry Cooper had been on the moon for almost 2 weeks before he discovered that something was wrong. At first, it was only an ill-defined suspicion, the sort of hunch that a hard-headed journalists reporter would not take too seriously. He had come here, after all, at the United Nations Space Administration's own request. They had always been hot on public relations, especially just before budget time, when an overcrowded world was screaming for more roads and schools and sea farms, and complaining about the billions being poured into space. So here he was, doing the lunar circuit for the second time and beaming back 2,000 words of copy a day. Although the novelty had worn off, there still remained the wonder and mystery of a world as big as Africa, thoroughly mapped, yet almost completely unexplored. A stone's throw away from the pressure domes, the labs, the spaceports, was a yawning emptiness that would challenge humankind for centuries to come. Okay, so that was the opening bit. Let's see. I'll read it again though. So Henry Cooper had been on the moon for almost 2 weeks before he discovered that something was wrong. At first, it was only an ill-defined suspicion, the sort of hunch that a hard-headed science reporter would not take too seriously. He had come here, after all, at the United Nations Space Administration's own request. They had always been hot on public relations, especially just before budget time, when an overcrowded world was screaming for more roads and schools and sea farms and complaining about the billions being poured into space. So here he was, doing the lunar circuit for the second time, and beaming back 2,000 words of a copy a day. Although the novelty had worn off, there still remained the wonder and mystery of a world as big as Africa, thoroughly mapped, yet almost completely unexplored. A stone throws away from the pressure domes, the labs, the spaceports, was a yawning emptiness that would challenge humankind for centuries to come. So here we are just looking at the gist. Henry Cooper is on the moon. True or false? There isn't anything wrong. True or false? Henry Cooper discovers that the thing that is wrong is caused by aliens. True or false? Henry Cooper Henry Cooper is suspicious. True or false? If you're not too sure about suspicious, suspicious means you think something is wrong, for example, or you think someone is guilty of something. Leondina says A is false. A is false, B is false, C is not given, D is true. Alida says A is true, B is false, C is not given, and D is true. Noelia says A is false. Okay, so I can tell you what the correct answers are. Thank you very much for your answers. Okay. The answers are, now don't forget, this is a story. So when we write a story, we always write the story in the past tense. So A is true, and the reason why A is true is because of the first line, where the first line says, Henry Cooper had been on the moon for almost 2 weeks before he discovered that something was wrong. So A has to be true. A has to be true. Okay. What did I do? Okay. So now that we've looked at that and we understand the gist, let's look at some new language as well. So for this, we've got some new language that we're going to look at. Unfortunately, I can't highlight it and just copy and paste. So I'm just going to tell you specifically what words we're going to look at here. So the first word that we're going to look at is ill-defined suspicion. 2, Leonie said, okay, said A is false because of the tense of the verb. Yeah, I can see why you might have said it was false. If this was a report, like in an article, like a news article, then you would have been correct. But in a story, like a fictional story, then in this case, it's going to have to be true. So the second word we're looking at is this word hunch. He had a hunch, for example. C, hard-headed. D, beaming back. And let's go with E, which is going to be novelty. I'll include the context for that one because that is important within the context. And F, a good idiom to know. Okay, I think that's going to be a good start. So we've got these words over here. Now, let's see if we can link them to their correct meanings. Okay, because that's going to be important. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. and 6. Okay, guys, let's see if you can link A, B, C, D, E, and F to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we'll see how we can develop our use of language around this. Some really good language over here. I don't know how much of this is good. So for some of you, a lot of this might be new. For some of you, you might know some of these things. But it's certainly a rich language over here that we can use to help develop our range of vocabulary. So we've got, just go through it again, ill-defined suspicion, he had a hunch, hard-headed, beaming back, novelty, or the novelty had worn off, which is the example, a stone's throw away, and then we have to link it to either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Noelia says A is linked to 4. So A, ill-defined suspicion for to have an idea about something based on your feelings. Okay, you might be right. We'll see if you are later on. If you agree with Noelia, let me know. You're saying that C is linked to 2, so hard-headed being linked to stubborn. A leader says A is 6, B is 4, C is 2, so that's where you and Noelia agree on. C goes with 2, D goes with 1, E goes with 5, and F goes with 3. Well, if you agree with the leader, let me know in the live chat section. Evelina says that she agrees with Leondina. And Leondina says 1 goes with D, 2 goes with C, 3 goes with F, 4 goes with B, 5 goes with E, and 6 goes with A. So those are the same answers as Alida's, just in reverse order. So if you agree with Alida and Leondina, let me know in the live chat section. And then we'll have a little look to see how we can use some of these words in our own sentences as well, because that's the important thing about it. Okay, so I'll tell you what the answers are. The first one, correct. A does go with C. So an ill-defined suspicion goes with a negative thought about something that is not specific. So well done there. B, um, he had a hunch. Yes, this goes with 4. To have an idea about something based on your feelings. You see this a lot in crime, like detective movies, for example, or TV shows. C, hard-headed goes with number 2. Hard-headed is a form of being stubborn. D, beaming back. You guys have said that D goes with 1. No, what did you guys say? D. Yes, actually, yes. You guys said D goes with 2, is it? Or 1? Yes. Okay. So some of you are saying that D goes with 1. So let's see. D, beaming back. D actually goes with 3. So yeah, D goes with 3. If you're beaming back something, you're beaming it back. It's sending information through impressive technology. I'm beaming this through to you. I mean, beaming, we can use beaming in lots of different contexts that can mean different things. But in this context, especially when you're talking about space, you beam something like laser, which is why you call it a laser beam, actually. It's sending something, especially through technology. You can beam something across the world. You can beam something to the moon. It's to do with that technology. Then we move on to E, which is novelty. Novelty is um, five. So E goes with five. A novelty is something new and exciting. And if the novelty wears off, it means that the newness and the excited element of that thing is not as strong anymore. And finally, F, a stone's throw away is one, something nearby. So yeah, you can say like it's a stone's throw away. It means you can, it's an idiom for saying it's close. It's a stone's throw away. Um, okay. So those are the answers. Now let's move on to the next thing, which is trying to use these words in the most appropriate context. Okay. So these are the let's just remember, okay, guys, we've got these options above, and we need to choose which sentences they go with over here. For this, I'm going to use Roman numerals actually for this one. So okay, I will give you the options at the end. Okay. Two. Okay. Three. Okay. Four. 5. And 6. Okay. So, what sort of words are you looking for? Well, they are from before, but I'm going to give you a clue in terms of the type of language as well, because some of them, in terms of different contexts, might be new to you, especially from present to past. So let's look at some of the possibilities. I'm going to go with, yes, G, I think. One, two, three, four, five, six. Okay, guys, let's see how you guys do. Try and link the options below to their correct sentences. Eventually, I'll need to invest in the equipment, but eventually, this sort of thing can be solved by having a green screen, and then I can just bring the answers up straight, or the questions up straight away, and things can then move faster. I am aware that writing all this in individually in the live chat section can take a bit of time. Um, Hopefully, eventually, I can get a green screen. And if I can get a green screen properly and then the right lighting, then maybe I can then begin to make things move faster. I hope that I don't know. We'll see how the channel develops. It'd be nice to have a green screen. Could even make it look quite fancy. You can put a whiteboard or a blackboard. I don't know. Actually, these days I tend to prefer blackboards. Not the actual blackboard, but I quite like when teaching. I quite like the background being black and then using different colors, because I think it stands out a bit more. Whiteboards are softer on the eye in the classroom, I would agree. But you can't use every color. For instance, green on white doesn't look very good. It's not a great one. Okay, so let's see. You've got this signal is across our solar system. 2, it didn't take long for the to wear off. 3, he is a detective. 4, she had a that it might have been him. 5, it's literally not far at all. And 6, I don't think we can take that's meant to be his. It's meant to be his. I'll write that again. That's meant to be his. 5 is 5 is meant to be that, actually. Let me do that again, because I only just realized that it's missing that important one. There we go. The actual one here for 6 is, I don't think we can take his too seriously. Your options are G, hunch; H, ill-defined suspicions; I, beamed; J, stone's throw away; K, hard-headed; and L, novelty. So let's see what your answers are. We've had we've had a look at these words beforehand, and now this is the opportunity to try and use them by putting them into their correct positions. Um, Unfortunately, we won't have enough time to really develop it, but a lot of this is good language, like a hunch. You can have a hunch about so many different things. You can have a hunch about the stock market. You can have a good hunch about your holiday. You can have a good hunch about the exam. You can have a good hunch about choosing a specific job, for example. Ill defined suspicions, again, this is a good one. I mean, a lot of people have ill defined suspicions, especially on social media. Beamed, well, that's a verb that you're going to use with technology, especially anything to do with the internet. Stone's throw away, a really good idiom to know about, trying to describe the distance between two things. Hard headed, well, that's an everyday term. I mean, everyone can be. I know a lot of people who are hard-headed. Maybe you have a boss who is hard-headed. Maybe your close friend is hard-headed. Um, and then, of course, novelty. Again, this is everyday language with a word like novelty, especially if you're starting something new as well. So let's see what your answers are. I'm not sure if any of you have given your answers yet. There might be a slight delay. Actually, let me check, because if I sometimes check on my phone, I will see answers come up before they come up here on my screen. Let's see. Okay, now I'm beginning to see them. Maybe it's just slow in terms of that. Anyway, let's see what Noelia has said. So Noelia has said, okay, so one goes with I. The signal is beamed. Okay. Two, you have said is L. It didn't take long for the novelty to wear off. Three, you're saying is K. He is a hard-headed detective. You're saying four goes with G. She had a hunch that it might have been him. You're saying that five goes with J. It's literally a stone's throw away. It's not that far. And six, you're saying goes with H. I don't think we can take his ill-defined suspicions too seriously. Leondina, okay, interesting. I think Leondina has gone with this with similar answers. Alida says, "Sorry, I need to leave. Thanks, Richard. See you soon. Thank you, Alida. See you hopefully tomorrow. Take care. Thank you very much for joining." Um, okay, guys. Well, thank you very much for your answers. I think Leondina and Noelia have similar answers, so I'm going to give you the answers now over here. Okay. So if we look at the first one, I. Well, one, yeah, it goes with I, okay, which is beamed. So well done there. I think you guys got that one correct. If we look at two, um, we've got two over here. It didn't take long for the novelty to wear off. This obviously goes with L. Okay, so three, we've got he is a hard-headed detective. So that goes with K. Four, she had a hunch. So yeah, that goes with G. We then got five. Five goes with. It's literally not that far. So yes, five goes with J. Stone's throw away, which means six goes with H, which is ill-defined suspicion. So guys, for those of you who got this correct, very well done, excellent work. Please take these words away with you, maybe try and practice using them. The key thing is once you know a word and you understand, it's important you try to activate the language. So thank you so much for joining the lesson. If you enjoyed today's lesson, story time, please make sure that you like the video. And if you are new, subscribe and share the channel with friends as well. I'll be back tomorrow at 3 o'clock with another live lesson, and tomorrow is going to be Music English. Irina F., you're welcome. Thank you very much and take care. Thank you for joining as always. Leandina, you too. Thank you. Evelina, you too as well. Thank you very much. And thank you as well, Alida. And Noelia, thank you very much for your contribution as well. I hope you enjoyed participating in the lesson today. Welcome to the channel as well. So Noelia, Evelina, Leondina, Irina F, Alida. I know Roberto. I assume Roberto is. Maybe Roberto hasn't participated today, but I'm automatically think Roberto is going to be watching at some point because I know he comments a lot. Noella, bye from Portugal. Thank you very much, Noella. All the best. Okay, guys. So thank you so much for your contribution today. See you tomorrow, same time, with another live English lesson here at AM Language at 3 o'clock. Tomorrow is going to be Music English, so make sure you join me for that. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Take care and bye for now.